We'd like to hear from you. Email us at texasweek@klrn.org. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And now here's Rick Casey with tonight's Last Word.
Who would have thought that it would be harder for San Antonio than for Arab nations to get rid of its royalty and its political leaders? This week, a jury gave her crown back to a queen who had been dethroned, allegedly for eating too many breakfast tacos, being tardy to appearances, and failing to write thank you notes. Meanwhile, neither the mayor nor half the state legislative delegation could knock out the Bexar County Democratic Party chairman after he made a series of statements that suggested he'd been drinking Charlie Sheen tiger blood. In both cases, the Miss San Antonio beauty queen and the Democratic county chairman, a big part of the problem was how they were chosen. 17-year-old Dominique Ramirez had been crowned Miss San Antonio by a private organization run, as the jury learned, by a woman who had once served time in a federal penitentiary for Medicaid fraud. And Dan Ramos, the mercurial Democratic chairman, was chosen by an even less qualified body, voters in the Democratic primary. Whenever the majority of voters know nothing of the people on the ballot other than their names and sometimes their sex, this is a crapshoot, not a democratic exercise, and that's exactly the case with Ramos. This is a guy who said of a gay group known as the Stonewall Democrats, and I will quote here with a minor modification, "I liken them to the Tea Party and the bleeping Nazi Party, because they're 90% white, blue-eyed, and Anglo, and I don't give a bleep who knows that. Just like the blacks, they're American, but you can't get your way just because you're black." If Democratic voters knew Ramos felt this way, he would not have been elected, but the vast majority of voters knew only his name. I asked a number of politically active Democrats this week who was the last truly effective county chairman. As far as I can tell, it was John Daniels. He served in the 1960s. It's a thankless job whose prestige has slipped for obvious reasons through the years. The only good news is that the only power these folks have is to embarrass the party, either by statements such as Ramos's or by misusing the money the state gives them to perform their only required function, to run primary elections. Fortunately, they contract that out to the Bexar County Election Office. There is one way to solve the problem, to get county chairmen who would actually work to help the party. That is, to have them selected by a body of elected officials. They're the ones who could recruit good candidates, the ones who have a stake in the chairman's performance, and the ones who can marshal the resources necessary to help build the party. No, it wouldn't be democratic, but the current system really isn't either. And that's it for Texas Week. See you next Friday. Good night.